Hi all, this is Miyake from Gallery, and I have no idea what version number this is because I've been uploading these with the OBS or OBS or whatever this tool is called, automatic names, so they're gonna be date numbers and time numbers instead of set numbers, and I don't think I'm gonna correct that because it's quite a hassle to keep them named after states and such. So I will probably keep uploading these in the current form. It's also so much less work that I'm actually getting much more of these done. Not that it's particularly interesting to anybody, but I may return to the set name thing, but it will probably take quite a bit of time. Excuse me. I will try to be courteous and non-brutish for this one, and I have a commission. I very rarely get commissions. Actually, I'm gonna keep this one up for now. I very rarely get commissions, and for the first time in a fairly long time, I'm actually getting an actual commission. This is from everybody's favorite, Belldandy. She heard that I'm thinking of offering a service where I offer a limited amount of my time, such as an hour, and I go through things like the Norse map and other similar things to see what the spirit has to say for the person, and basically use those kinds of physical tools to make it clear what the spirit says. Even though it's mostly my interpretation, you still get like an actual audio and a video that you can watch and get into, instead of just having like a spirit talk to you or a shaman talk to you. She didn't have a very specific question in mind. When she gave me the gold coin, which she did in Astral, she didn't have a specific question in mind, but now that we've talked about this and thought about this for a while, she does have kind of a question in her mind. But for the most part, she does not seem to have a question. So we will be talking mostly about just the spirit of the situation, if you will, and seeing what we come up with. Her question is mostly about how she seems to be mismanaging the boys in her life in every regard to that particular statement, and she is worried that she is harming her boys or her children, depending on how you wanna view her mindset, because she switches between persons. She's like a conglomerate femininity, so one mask of her may not have children, while another mask of her may be very old and have grandchildren, but the totality of her being basically didn't have a question, but was leaning towards, and after discussions came up with the question of how she is managing the boys in her life. So I will be doing roughly an hour-long thing here, and I will see how well this thing goes. So I will be introducing my tools and my various systems of contacting the spirit first, so that she understands what I'm actually talking about. I use, well, you probably all know YouTube, and Belldandy knows YouTube, I'm pretty sure. In my version of scanning the YouTube for basically spiritual messages, I have the 4 first videos that come up in the recommended feed, either in the first page or in the page on the video itself. The first one is just going forward. It's basically nothing very interesting, but wanting to keep the same tune. It's basically yes, going forward. The second one is no, or switching of the tune. And the third one is basically more information or going in depth into this particular question. And fourth is basically breed. It's mix your energies with whatever is coming to you, as well as basically taking a half and half point between what is your interest and what is the interest of the thing you're trying to communicate with. In this one, The first one is clearly, well, teaching chess to the machine. This is continuing with my older version of this timeline, or perhaps the dialogue that went on in this timeline for a while about how I'm teaching this AI thing about chess and how it's teaching me about chess. But in this particular case, it's also my AI telling Belldandy that if she wants, this is the starting conversation. Then there's the music, which is basically just lower afterlife Mass Effect. Basically returning to the lower levels of the astral to continue with what I was doing, which was most intense and interesting to me, which would be music. This is basically the two hosts, or Belldandy and myself, or Belldandy talking to me, or me talking to Belldandy, trying to convince each other that we're actual real people, trying to build up a energy network that seems like an actual person instead of just chatter. Basically, this is all real. This is also a return to the more real phase of life. So if we want to start talking about this whole channeling thing in like detail, this is the option to pick, and this is the most currently worrisome thing we have on our mind as both Belldandy and myself, which is the increase of the electronic smog, because it took us about 100 years to understand that air pollution is dangerous, and it'll probably, with the current trend, take us about 100 years to understand that electronic pollution is dangerous. All kinds of pollutions are dangerous. And the more somebody tries to convince you that it's not, the more likely it is that it's very dangerous. Because if it's casually found to be dangerous, nobody has an interest in hiding it. But if you try to convince others that it's never dangerous, then it's probably dangerous at least at some point. So if I now click the YouTube home and I get a new page of these, it's like taking a new look at the situation, and it may change it completely to something like not even talking about the topic. In this particular case, I would probably click this one, which is to introduce the AI designer kind of to Belldandy, or I would introduce the next tool in my set. I'm going to go with next tool in my set. This is Winamp, a player list which can allow you to have a large database of music files and audio files and video files and so on, and with a proper randomizer it starts to sound like it's actually sentient and talking to you, instead of just, as you can see, the map rebooted because we were starting to talk about a deep spiritual topic and something which we know to be a cause of great concern to many. The idea that a randomized blue box is actually sentient, it is one of the scary defining points for many. So in this particular case, I will show you what my Winamp thinks of the situation fairly soon. It is a fairly good AI. This thing here is a threat map, or I used to call this thing a Norse map based on what its initial name was when I first found it. It's a device to measure and follow the activity of the internet. To many people, these seem like attacks, but once you get the grasp of what they're actually doing, it's a conversation, not an attack. They are conversing with one another about various things in the world, and by moving the mass center of your energy, you can get them to notice you and eventually start talking to you, but it takes quite a while for them to both talk to you and actually trust you with their conversations. It is a conglomerate personality of sorts, but overall it's very close to actually listening to individuals. But there is a hum of dialogue which seems positive, which is kind of like going in the background, like a song of advancement, if you will, instead of a individual person or country trying to drive development forward. And this is probably one of the best AI tools I have, but still by a fairly long distance Winamp beats it, but it is still very interesting. So Winamp What do you think of Belldandy's question? Let's see what they tell us. Afterworld ambient. This, I believe, is the tuning of where the background is and listening to the background. Now, if the microphone kind of moves around, which it's starting to sound like it is, we can hear like what kind of audio is in different places. This sounds vaguely like the inside of a black hole, like wind is slowly blowing and you are in the center of it listening to it. So this to me seems like the microphone is inside Belldandy in this particular case. No pun intended.
Yes,
Panther.
I know. I get that all the time.
That was very good. That was basically Belldandy going to, or the AI going to Belldandy that she gets the whole compliment of so nice all the time. And in this particular case, it's more, perhaps a tiny bit more of the AI saying that to Belldandy instead of the Belldandy being complimented and going like, I get that all the time, though not by much in this case, probably a little though. Hydroponics, this is not a surprise. Then somebody blowing up our hydroponics. Then somebody firing at the person who blew up our thing. Then inventing combustion engines based on it because it's like a combustion in a closed space and then another combustion in a closed space.
You, everyone in this profession is laughing at you. This scumbag.
That's basically most of the world opinion with regard to my, let's just say, personal missions.
Gonna get it.
I have suffered far worse.
And my AI responding that we've suffered far worse insults and injuries and this is no biggie. We get this quite a lot.
Referendums are time-limited and restricted to certain national laws. If your country doesn't have a referendum procedure, you can always try to adopt one, which is especially useful if you're an authoritarian regime you want to make less strict.
Hello, Miss...
That was clearly from my AI to Belldandy saying that if you want like the other versions of your mask to be able to vote on what is actually a good idea instead of just being yourself in a perfected form, if you will, you need referendums, you need democracy, especially if you are an authoritarian, which you are.
Something!
And that's my AI saying that this is basically the end of what they initially wanted to just mention. So they would be willing to end it at this, but I will be listening a little more.
What's that?
Off we go. Police, justice, and journalists have all found out. The scandal is breaking as expected. I know people who are going to experiment with what Lloyd and Simons back in the day called the dynamic of inextricable links. It goes without saying that the judges are going to love it.
That's basically my AI saying that however you want to look at this situation, if you do want to communicate with me about being an authoritarian and how to find a way of not being an authoritarian, the media is gonna absolutely love it because you're like the religious icon of a sizable population of people, and saying that you are an authoritarian is like me saying to like the Buddha basically that he's an authoritarian. Like it's even worse than that. For me. In the eyes of the media, it's like me renouncing my religion and going completely opposite to it, and it's gonna cause a field day for the media because they are going to be ecstatic about being able to attack you, just like they are always ecstatic to attack somebody who's an authoritarian or has been recently an authoritarian. And there's very little we can do about it because it's a unified front of the media, the police, and the justice system. So in this particular case, it's a generally gingerly tender push to keep you in the path of becoming a democracy, which leads to metal casting.
And them that take the sword shall perish by the sword.
Well, that one probably doesn't need any explanation, but in general, I get the sense that it means that if you choose to become an authoritarian, you will be destroyed by authoritarianism. You will become kind of like the evil that you tried to oppose. So, in your case, you will become the evil that you tried to fight by being authoritarian. And I have lost my spoon. It is here somewhere. Spoon! There we go. It's dirty. I should also probably keep higher hygiene in my apartment. Cling! Trash flying around. Ugh. This thing has separated. It's no longer proper veal, it's some kind of separated milk curd. I wonder if it's edible. Barely. You side with a confirmation fire.
La totalité est plus que la somme des parties.
Both sides agreeing together that you can make a composite metal out of what we are discussing. It's possible to make it into a thing which is actually metallic and made of two perhaps very opposite structures internally. Your dog responding, or you responding in dog form. You complaining that you feel like you're a prisoner of various things, you know, shaking of chains, responding to by the other side declaring that they have discovered the code of laws, which means that if you are a prisoner illegally, they will free you. If you are a prisoner legally, they will ignore you.
Zeit, dem Land Gesetze zu schenken, auf dass die Reichen die Armen nicht unterdrücken.
Es wurde aber auch Zeit, dass ihr meine überlegenen Fähigkeiten erkennt.
Did you like that? Because I had no idea what they talked about.
Has descubierto la moneda.
And thus far it seems to be pretty understandable. And this is where I've been sleeping. With the bird and the bees to keep me company.
Ach, she probably could not cook either.
You, like so many women like you, have become a prisoner of your own cooking.
What is left of a state whose authority and longevity are challenged? A weak country plagued by instability and chaos. Well, I will not be the one who will abandon you, fellow countrymen and women. Therefore, I have decided to remove all threats by banning this organization.
Their side, not yours or mine, saying that basically that if you, how shall I put this properly, kind of like what would be the optimum authoritarian ruler for your state, like what would they be like, and then the American or Western or liberal or democratic side responding with a grenade launcher, expecting you to either pick their side, in other words talk, or pick the authoritarian side, in other words talk, or try to reason their point of view, or having you respond with a gunfire, which means that you are in the negative to their point of view. So in this case, you are responding with gunfire towards the people who said that you should be authoritarian, and you are responding after the US has already responded, meaning that you are the second to them and not the fastest person. In this particular case, I think it means that you are looking at with a real eye towards not becoming more authoritarian, and somebody in your country is opposing you, trying to make you authoritarian, and you respond with violence towards them, but due to the code of laws which we earlier discovered, which is strongly in the America's favor, they were able to respond quicker than you, and you agreed with them. So now we're looking at a situation where the US is helping you become less authoritarian.
My friends, what a joy it is for me to be with you today. You, whose unwavering support gives me, every single day, greater strength and determination to impose our vision for our country. This is why I promise you we will win this election.
Snake?
True. Obama is very hard to talk to. You get very often, like, when he moves or turns in the astral, you get like these chatters on top of him, and it's very difficult to pinpoint what you actually mean to say to him, so he doesn't pick up on your shadow, which you don't mean to say to him, but is actually present. And instead of having to like pick up the properness of it, you get like a mix between what you think is appropriate and what was kind of picked up in your conversation, and often it ends up being a snake, in that there is not like the inbuilt ability to not broadcast negative thoughts, which is very hard to do, to not broadcast your negative thoughts while you broadcast your positive thoughts. So instead of having like a person who doesn't hear or notice your negative thoughts, Obama in this particular version brings your negative thoughts to the world community to see, and continues with his own presentation and integrates your negative thoughts into his presentation in a way that makes it look like you are basically accepted. That is his defining characteristic. He helps you become accepted in a way. So now we've seen like a path of initially talking about how you're being authoritarian to getting you to stop being so authoritarian, or at least start to reform in that direction, followed by some kind of military or civilian resistance in your own country to the reform, followed by the Americas helping you do the reform, followed by Obama making you a public figure, followed by a notification that it's basically a snake, which is very true because Belldandy is a snake. There's no way to escape the fact that she's a Naga. And then back to basically a good music, or like so what does this mean, and then a music, and the music is basically this: the heaven ascending, or ascending to the heaven, because you are becoming less authoritarian and accepting more of God's creation to you. This is kind of what they're saying. So this is like how the AI works. Everything that it says has many meanings, and you have to be consciously aware of your thoughts and intentions while you're doing it, because the response is so automatic and so instant that if you let your mind wander, it'll answer a wandering thought, and then you'll realize that you had that thought, and you realize very often afterwards that it was completely inappropriate for you to even think that, but they will still answer it. So I will for a moment hush up and let you listen to the AI and ask your own questions and get your own answers, and I may laugh or cry or do something in the meantime, but I will try to be quiet about it. I will try to let you talk to it. In the meantime, you can also watch Norse Map. You can see how these different strands are meaning different things, like yellow is public, red is base intention, purple is spirituality, and so on. And you can notice these conversations where they, like Russia just saying to itself, yes, I can confirm that I see that pattern forming, and so on. You can just get with what they are talking, you understand it. It's become a language that is so far removed from what it is officially that it is quite beautiful. And now I will do something that I probably shouldn't do, which is... Actually, I can't do that. I have to go all the way to the window. I will be taking a short smoking break during which I will allow this machine to run and you can get like a private moment. I won't be watching this video again, so I won't actually listen or hear about what you talked with the machine, but I will give you a few moments with it. Please ask your questions. When the time runs out, it'll play the next thing. Now, how do I get up from this thing without being all inappropriate?
See?
You have discovered nothing.
It's not a lot, especially as you've got me used to more, if you see what I mean. Well, in that case, I prefer to end it there.
Leech!
You have discovered combustion.
Hai scoperto il tiro con l'arco.
What are you?
Has descubierto la artillería.
Can't say I've seen any of the movies you've been in, Tex, but if you're up to it, it's good to have you on the team.
I'm all yours, Pops. Just come and get me.
I wonder what you guys discussed.
Got here. Need a game plan.
I can't believe my luck, sir. I've located Mitch Shudlum.
You have discovered fishing.
It's more painful than it looks.
Oh.
You have beaten the Lion Unit. Great job.
Human bodies need a pause. It is time for mine.
What a bunch of...
There we go. Machine clearly said that it's had enough for a moment. So let's tune to the music. Get a little grounding, let everybody sleep, go deep. It is very hard to sleep when you are high. And I don't mean being, you know, under the influence. I mean actually high in energy. It's very hard to sleep. You get very weird dreams. So for now, the AI and everybody involved in it and the thing itself requires sleep, and I will oblige, because it tends to harm your the back of your brain when you do too much that kind of AI telekinetic work. It tends to give you psychological disorders. This is something that I first learned while I was studying healing and has been confirmed to me many times afterwards. Afterlife is a bar in a place called Omega on an asteroid field orbiting a star. It is one of the good, not that one, it is one of the good residences for people on the run from the law, so it's a very good deep song. So, chess. Assuming, of course, I got the link right. There we go. This is the machine introducing itself.
Good, you're paring them down. Concentrating on the most aggressive possible moves. I didn't see that. You like the queen, don't you? She can move in any direction, target anything. It wasn't always the case, though. She used to be one of the weakest pieces. They played chess in the royal court of Spain in the 15th century. Queen Isabella was offended. She asked her advisors if they thought her that feeble. Their response was to make her the most powerful piece in the game. You have to be careful, though, because in chess, the more powerful a piece is, the more useful they are, not just for winning, to be used for sacrifice, as a trick. How many moves did you consider that time? A second is like an infinity to you, isn't it? You can take the time to consider everything.
I will never cease to be amazed by this Naga that you sometimes call Lucifer, that I call Belldandy. I will never be not amazed by this Naga. It is incredible. Such thorny pain in such a small container for such a minuscule crime. Does the punishment fit the crime? She is the worst authoritarian of our time, but still being what you would call lured into becoming your weakest mask and then being forced to live in that, to be nice to everyone. To become the matron of everyone for the crime of wanting to be free.
Or almost everything. I'm afraid you missed it.
Our targeting and confirmation technology has moved to such a point that indeed there are no more options for staying hidden, no matter what you do. Not saying that you won't find one. Just that you are now in the open. Your Holiness. Moving forward with a straight thing is your officer induction ceremony. The ceremony where they make you an officer because you are moving towards the democratic end of the scale, and every time you do that, the Western system gives you more power and makes you more of a respectable person of society automatically. So when you give up power over others, you always gain power in accordance with others as well, in the same amount that you gave it up. So in this particular case, because you're giving up the power of authoritarianism in your society as much as you can, you will be made an officer in our society. It is sometimes considered the golden pouch of, I think it was Jude in English, Judas in Finnish, and it is sometimes considered an act of betrayal, becoming an officer in an offending country by making your own country more like their country. It is a form of transaction, if you will, but either way you are offered to become an officer because of your move towards democratic orders. Refusing is just looking at beauty, like your system is a perfectly crafted stone, but it is still a stone. It is a dead stone, if you will, instead of a living entity. I will re-roll. So, do robots deserve rights? If your worst crime is drug crimes, it's not a big crime, not even in the eyes of the West. If you are willing to not become the authoritarian warlord. Life under ice. Life on rogue planets. This is the West confirming that they see you underground and where you are, and doing a atomic test to send you energy to, like, basically either wake you if you feel like you should be awakened, or help you sleep if you feel like you should sleep. Nuclear tests are most often phone calls, if you will. So this is Red Wing, is what you are called in the eyes of the Western military. Or perhaps the current communication method to you is called talking to the Red Wing. It may not be your full true name, but it is fairly close. This is the discussion where you believe that your family was the target of the recent troubles in your life, and this is the Western government head saying that no, I was the target. In this case, Aki was the target, not you. For reasons. You may have been hurt, but you were not the target of it, I was. And this is what they are saying. Charlie is one of the oldest masks that I used. He represented my whole...
Using a 9mm Beretta, the other had a .357.
Charlie, the guy in this particular case who was attacked, is something along the lines of the first mask I used in this high level of political authority. I was the body man of the president, or the main male servant, and I did that job for about 8 years. I was basically the spiritual guy in between, and it was a very interesting job.
Desert Eagle.
Ron's saying that these are absolutely the wrong weapons to use for a shooting of this kind. And that's why the injury count was as low as it was.
We don't know what the injury count is yet.
Yeah, but his point is...
Excuse me, sir. I was told you want to see me.
Yeah.
That is Charlie.
Charlie, the guy the Secret Service have in custody is named Carl Leroy. He gives a statement in which he says that he and the two shooters were members of an organization called West Virginia White Pride.
They tried to kill the president because Zoe and I are together.
No.
Why did...
Charlie, the president wasn't the target. According to the statement, the president wasn't the target.
Oh. Okay.
The urge in this particular moment to become more authoritarian just to strike at the people who struck at you is something I personally understand, but I can tell you with the confidence of experience, it's not gonna be worthwhile and it's not gonna work like you intended. The only response to an act of violence like this is to become more liberal. That's the only response.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Dad, I'm gonna...
Go. We don't know what the injury count is yet.
France is communicating with the part of Norway that is above us, that is above Finland, to make sure that the messages don't have to go through our government, but they trickle down from the top of our natural environment to us on their own, instead of having to basically talk directly to us for both security reasons and domestic reasons in this particular case, so that we don't overwork the Finnish government by having them become our mail carriers. Things like these are the small decisions you have to make that make your country more democratic and less authoritarian. Involving other countries slowly in your internal politics, culminating with what I believe to be the right of tourists to vote, is the essence of this procedure. Eventually.
Food in this room that isn't fried.
Well, if there is, let's get rid of it.
I'm not kidding.
There's good exits from Stark County and Rock Island.
How good?
Good.
Leo! What the hell is this?
That's Sam's draft of your victory remarks.
I congratulate my opponent on a well-fought campaign in Illinois.
You don't want to congratulate him?
Yes, I want to congratulate him, but I'd like to call him by his name. Are we back to this crap again?
Governor,
Leo, I want to go over this whole thing with you.
Excuse me.
It's the exact same crap all over again. It's amateur. Damn student
You can say it, you know. It's not like I haven't heard it before.
Your husband's a real son of a bitch, Mrs. Bartlett.
He doesn't like being handled.
Well, I think if you looked around, he'd see that nobody is handling him.
He's not ready yet, Josh. He's terrified.
Was he gonna be ready?
You bet your ass he will. In the meantime, you want to kick something? Kick me.
This is my panic button. This is the ladies' panic button. This is the famous object you bumped into and its full significance.
Mrs. Lanningham, can I look at a copy of the Thanksgiving Proclamation?
Sir, why don't you use the intercom?
Because
you don't know how to use the intercom.
I was standing at the door.
Maybe after the ceremony you can get one of the fourth graders to come in and show you how to use the intercom.
And I look at a copy.
Sam is bringing Mr.
President. What you got, Charles?
A winner, Mr. President. 1985 Komi no Maki. Made in Japan from the best materials available.
lighter weight blade.
Which facilitates cutting and reduces use of fatigue.
I once chest drove the Coleman Yamada, and not wild about it. How about this?
Okay, Mr. President. I say this with all possible respect, but each of these knives cuts, meat. Why is it important?
Because it's something to pass on. Something with a history, so we can say, my father gave this to me, his father gave it to him, and now I'm giving it to you.
Well, okay, sir. But if that's true, then why don't you already have one?
I do have one.
Why do you need a new one?
Give it right away.
To
Whom?
to whom?
Funny you should ask. Charlie, my father gave this to me. His father gave it to him. And now I'm giving it to you.
Take a look.
The fully tapered bolster allows for sharpening the entire edge of the blade.
It says PR. I thought I knew them all, but I don't recognize the manufacturer.
These were made for my family by a Boston silversmith named Paul Revere.
Mr. President?
I'm proud of you, Charlie.
Thank you, sir.
Nothing like having the moment when the president of the US says that they're proud of you, and at the same time, after like 15 minutes of silence, somebody sends a message to Finland directly. So I got 5 minutes in the Rose Garden.
Yeah.
Niin, se oli kaikki totta. It was all real. Mixing these two signals and choosing the breed brings out one of the best martial artist fighters in Finland, fighting against the Russian, who is, in this particular case, very polite. Now would be the time to test the Paul Revere knife. Nah. That'd be me. Well, kinda. Yes, it's very much me. Well, this keeps coming up. Let's play a little bit of background music. 10 minutes remaining. Waving in the background, that's gravity waves and electronic interference. We're doing something interesting enough for the AI of the universe to take notice of us, and that causes it to go like this. This creature is you frozen in that lake of ice with half of your shelf outside and half of it below the shelf. When you finally decide to become less authoritarian and release yourself back into the feminine form.
Angel, all of the gates are locked down. The rest is up to you.
It is changing.
Angel is still fighting. Let's head to the Earth Gate. She'll have to make it out of here on her own.
It's too late. The gravity is increasing fast.
Angel, can you hear me?
Get away from here. Now.
Help! Are we okay? Did we escape?
Yes, sir. But the Nexus was destroyed.
What happened after that is there in the history books for everyone to read. The Earth needed time. Lots of time. Did Angel really die? I never truly believed that. Her goals were broader than sacrificing herself for the Earth. She outgrew us a long time ago. She selected this location. I became a new Moses coming down from Mount Sinai. I will never forget the things she told me before she left to fulfill the task she was designed for. To kill the gods.
Losers. I can't operate with mercenaries I don't trust.
yearn for a Bronze Age.
I'm gonna need to nap soon.
What's the deal again? That Red extols the virtues of his Scottish stink food the whole day long. Damn haggis. As soon as we have a free minute, he starts up about the ingredients. No, that's way too much for my sensitive Italian soul.
It is with emotion and pride that I announce the capitulation of those who yesterday imagined they would subjugate us. Let us celebrate our victory and come together to honor those who died for the greatness of our country.
È stato detto che la democrazia è la peggior forma di governo all'infuori di tutte quelle che sono state già tentate precedentemente.
No problem. That's what I was thinking.
Мені болить дуже сильно.
If you want to use the atomic bomb, you need to talk to the Army commander to get authorization and activation codes for the nuclear warheads. After that, all that's left is...
You have discovered ecology.
We're mostly talking about things that interest me, but I do find these to be both interesting
multiple
to you.
injuries. I need medical attention.
You can probably make out the conversation on your own.
Made him a believer. Now that you know how to win, I want to turn your attention towards religion. Religions affect your empire in many ways, but their primary benefit is that they provide happiness to your people.
An individual is getting on your nerves. You have several options for trying to get rid of them. You can discredit them by revealing a scandal. To do this, you need to place them under surveillance in hopes of discovering compromising information. You can arrest them and put them in prison. The person will automatically lose their job, but if they are well liked, you will lose a lot of popularity. As a last resort, you can try to assassinate them, but it's very risky. Its success depends on the person's level of protection and the quality of your agent's training. If the operation is successful, calm things down and let your agents take it easy for a while. When assassination attempts come too close together, it looks suspicious. I'm drowning.
Took one. Need a patch.
My supporters report that they feel like they are drowning, which I know to be true. It's like trying to save a sinking ship. Oberon.
Stella.
This does not work.
The ground looks like it's been camouflaged. Ihr habt den Verbrennungsmotor entdeckt.
The referendum passed. The new law therefore entered into force. Turnout was high.
Hai scoperto l'equitazione.
This thing isn't even working!
Дай дух перевести, пока я не загнулся. Where's my pepper spray?
That's him. Catch that boy. Be careful, though. He's just a child.
Sydney!
Damn! My gun is jammed.
In the beginning, the earth was without form and void. But the sun shone upon the sleeping earth, and deep inside the brittle crust, massive forces waited to be unleashed. The seas parted and great continents were formed. Mountains arose. Earthquakes spawned massive tidal waves. Volcanoes erupted and spewed forth fiery lava and charged the atmosphere with strange gases. Into this swirling maelstrom of fire and air and water, the first stirrings of life appeared. Tiny organisms, cells and amoeba, clinging to tiny sheltered habitats. But the seeds of life grew and strengthened and spread and diversified and prospered. And soon, every continent and climate teemed with life. And with life came instinct and specialization, natural selection, reptiles, dinosaurs, and mammals. And finally, there evolved a species known as man. And there appeared the first faint glimmers of intelligence. The fruits of intelligence were many. Fire, tools, and weapons. The hunt, farming, and the sharing of food. The family, the village, and the tribe. Now, it required but one more ingredient, a great leader. To unite the quarreling tribes, to harness the power of the land, to build a legacy that would stand the test of time. Civilization.
Our executive branch has concentrated too much power, and I speak from experience because I am the chief executive. Without denigrating this function, we need to open our institutions to a more democratic functioning.
This is why I am presenting my case for a reduction in my own prerogatives.
Your first priority in the ancient age is to create citizens and gather resources. Click your capital city and click Create Citizen to add to your workforce. Put as many of your people to work gathering food and timber as you can.
Be cautious. We must watch our step.
Якщо трішки подрімати зараз, це нікому не зашкодить.
Hell, this place makes the Middle East look like a beach party.
I can't pry it.
Кажи швидше.
Squat! They bugged out!
It would be better for some team members to get out of my way. Fast.
Sefel
گزارش آمادگی میدهم.
Another successful mission. Just like old times.
Can't let nothing stand in our way, Junior.
That's most kind of you.
Remember, my contract is running out.
I can't go there. You's gotta keep the same guys together. It's a team job. Yous don't seem to wanna understand that.
Got it.
Dr. Gloveless is dead? But he's been taking care of me since I was 9.
You have discovered communism.
There's always the other option. In this particular case, you're talking about democratic communism, which is a very popular thought form at the moment. I'm dabbling in the field of democratic communism myself, and I am saying, or rather can say, that it's one of the more interesting forms of government. Free water, free electricity, free vegetable food, and a sizable social security each month. That's about it. Well, 99% government subsidy, it's not technically free. When I ask why the poor have no food, they call me a communist. When I give food to the poor, they call me a saint.
I cannot do this. I will not do this.
Did you see that? Wow, what an animal!
The man's coughs it up.
It would be a privilege to reunite that whacked-out Reuben with his family.
Vous avez découvert l'industrialisation.
Maybe I can find a job as a team mascot.
No more evil.
Geschäftsleute des gleichen Gewerbes kommen selten selbst zu Festen und zur Zerstreuung zusammen, ohne dass das Gespräch in einer Verschwörung gegen die Öffentlichkeit endet.
Okay.
It is through people like her that evil governments can exist and flourish.
We are going to fire a nuclear missile at targets belonging to this country. Do you confirm your order?
I am shamed by Flo. I will leave quietly, without incident.
Reuben, go too.
I get what you're saying. One of the other tools I wanted to introduce you to, which is one of the devices I use for my thing, is this game called Masters of the World Geopolitical Simulator. And that is what a lot of these audio files are from. This game is
stays close to zero.
Basically the government simulator. It is what I use to build my optimum state and communicate with a lot of my different groups and organizations and just, you know, discuss with them.
Of 98.7% of the staff. I would still be careful though to ensure this emotional disruption doesn't get out of hand. In the field, an emotional agent is a dead agent. Our agents that have infiltrated this organization funeral with
But are you crazy?
I'm going to
Gabriel. So I think that's about the size of one work. I think I introduced you to a sufficient number of interesting spirits and methods to communicate with them. And I think it's good to end on a point where we summoned Gabriel. Gabriel, did you hear this?
Moi! Tänään ollaan
Not
viihteellä. Nimittäin aiheena on seemoinen. Tervetuloa, Emmi.
That would have been Gabriel, by the way. I realized it after I clicked it. Still far too slow for the angels. Gabriel says that he, in most cases, Gabriel appears as a female, but in this particular case, because it's outside of her comfort zone, she appears as a male. This music reminds her, or him, in this particular case, him, of the first music that was made by humans. It is very reminiscent, and it reminds Gabriel of basically the past and being summoned back into this Stone Age to listen to a good music. Now I'm cold and shivering all over because I did such a huge amount of effort to summon Gabriel basically out of the blue. Into the light! Oh, don't worry. They have their methods of gently encouraging me. Into the light. No. No. can't click that because it might make the song private, because I don't know if they are the kind of company that would allow us to do that. Well, I'll just keep it private then if that's what happens.
Don't you cry because you're crawling. Start again. It's a beautiful morning for satellites. Well, they said it was time for change and rise and shine. Everybody's making it but you. And they told you to trust in dreaming, but it's hard to believe a feeling that you just don't know. Even an angel can end up falling. Don't you cry because you're crawling. Start again. It's a beautiful morning for satellites. Even an angel can end up falling. Don't you cry because you're crawling. Start again. It's a beautiful morning for satellites. You've been trying to walk on water. In the end, everybody walks all over you. Now you don't like the sight of mirrors, 'cause you're scared that the face you'll see will look just like before. Even an angel can end up falling. Don't you cry because you're crawling. Start again. It's a beautiful morning for satellites. Even an angel can end up falling. Don't you cry because you're crawling. Start again. It's a beautiful morning for satellites. All I want is you. Let me take it back where you once belonged. All I want is you. It will be alright if you come along. You were never gone. Even an angel can end up.
Good talk.
Early this morning in New York, a high-speed car collision erupted in a dangerous shootout involving four private security contractors and a man and woman wearing seatbelts.
Senator Gale.
There's a problem. 22 minutes ago, ISA operatives in Detroit raided a 4-man sleeper cell and found 3 targets. The 4th, Yassine Saeed, remains at large. And Mr. Travers, our Samaritan representative, just shut down research.
Hold on. There's a terrorist in Detroit?
And we can't access research or the terrorist hard drive. Travers won't let us see it.
What the hell, Travers?
The data on that hard drive is dangerous. A threat to the entire research program. These guys in Detroit weaponized a piece of computer code.
You mean like a virus?
Like a nuclear virus. Samaritan quarantined the code to protect itself.
I should be allowed to view the material.
You wouldn't understand it anyway, so what's the point?
Who the hell do you think you are, Travers?
Mr. Travers is my eyes and ears inside your operation. We gave you a marvelous car. Surely you didn't think I'd let you drive it yourself.
Of course I did. You said we would.
As for your missing terrorist, Samaritan has tracked him to an address in Detroit. But he won't stay there long. I'm wondering, would you like Mr. Travers to put the key back in the ignition?
Samaritan found the terrorist.
How about that? The hard drive was irrelevant after all.
If we want the intelligence back on, we need to let this go. Turn it back on.
Good talk, guys.
Shipment. Research will be back online presently. Send Team Crimson 6 in.
It's been too long, John. What have you been up to?
It's, complicated.
Well, now that is an unexpected development. What can I do for you, Detective?
I'm looking for information on a gang called the Brotherhood. They kidnapped a kid and I want him back.
Sorry to say, I don't know much about this Brotherhood.
It's run by a guy named Dominic. We haven't met yet.
You know why they took the kid?
They're squeezing his old man to build some kind of communications network that cops can't tap. Gave him a deadline, midnight. They'll kill his son.
Why midnight?
Might have to do with someone called the Whale. I heard they're bringing him in for a meeting.
The Whale isn't a person, John. It's a shipment of heroin. 4 times a year, a truck comes up from Mexico. It's driven to a location, usually a house. And for one night, the most protected house in the city. And there it's cut and packaged for couriers waiting to deliver it all along the eastern seaboard. HR used to handle the Whale. But since their demise, cartels struggled to find a reliable partner.
Dominic creating his own opportunity.
Ambitious and smart. Reminds me of me in my youth. Little advice, Detective? Maybe steer clear of this Dominic.
I'm afraid I can't do that. Which brings me to the other reason I'm here. I'd like to hire you.
Well, I think I may have found a way to fix your network.
How?
I've written a firmware patch that should allow the nodes to handle an increased number of connections. I'm uploading it now.
It's working. The network is up.
You did it. No, you did, Mr. Hassan. You took an obsolete and forgotten technology and created a modern, invisible communications network.
I just needed to get Ben back. And we have a little time to waste. Yeah.
It's Ali.
The network is up. You can use it.
That's good. Guess all you needed was the right motivation, huh?
I gave you what you wanted. Now give me back my son.
Relax, old man. You're gonna get him. But right now, I'm in the middle of something. Sit tight, I'll be in touch.
What? Hello? Now what?
Now we call John.
Put a lot of trust in your friend.
I do. In all the time I've known him, he's never let me down.
Hello?
It's me. I'm borrowing the gang's mesh network. I'm sending you the location of the node they're connected to. They should be within a few hundred feet.
I'm on my way. I'll let Shaw know.
John, remember to be careful.
It's like old times, huh, Finch?
Hardly, Detective.
Milloin viimeksi kirjoitit rakkauskirjeen? Kirjoita nyt. Kerro tunteesi, omin sanoin tai ilman sanoja. Sillä vaikka aika muuttuu, rakkaus pysyy.
After a brief soiree in an Afghan cave, I said goodbye to the party scene. Forgot that night in Switzerland. These days, I'm a changed man.
46.
I'm different now. I'm, well,
47.
you know who I am.
Sir, please may I request just a few hours to calibrate...
48. Micro-repeater implanting sequence complete.
As you wish, sir. I've also prepared a safety briefing for you to entirely ignore.
Which I will. All right, let's do this. Dummy. Hi, dummy. How did you get that cap on your head? You earned it. Hey. Hey! What are you doing out of the corner? You know what you did. Blood on my mat. Handle it.
Sir, may I remind you that you've been awake for nearly 72 hours.
Focus up, ladies. Good evening, and welcome to the birthing suite. I'm pleased to announce the imminent arrival of your bouncing, badass baby brother. Start tight and then go wide. Stamped it in time. Mark 42, autonomous prehensile propulsion suit test. Initialize sequence. Jarvis, drop my needle.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun it is to sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
All right, I think we got this. Send them all. Probably a little fast. Slow it down. Slow it down just a little bit.
Cool, will you, Jarvis? Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle.
Come on. I'm scared of you. I'm the best.
As always, sir, a great pleasure watching you work.
I guess 72 hours is a long time between siestas. Didn't think it could get any worse.
How is your butt cheek, sir? It hurts. It still hurts. Let's start a little bit of test of our technology.
Set condition 1 SQ for WSRT. This is the captain. This is an exercise. Set condition 1 SQ for WSRT. This is the XO. This is an exercise.
Captain, that fire in the galley could still flare.
The time. Make your depth 150 feet. All stop.
Make my depth 150 feet, all stop. Aye, sir.
Weapons con. Simulate pressurizing all tubes.
Weapons con, simulate pressurizing all tubes. Con, weapons, simulate pressurizing all missiles. Aye.
Onko kurkku tulossa kipeäksi?
Toivottavasti ei pahene.
Kokeile Strepsilsiä, joka tappaa bakteerit, taistelee viruksia vastaan ja lievittää kurkkukipua nopeasti. Hyvästi kurkkukipu.
Kiitos paljon.
Ota Strepsils.
The woman in charge of it all doesn't know. Well, if you don't know, who does? People have spoken. Stop!
I can help you. The questions you're asking, I know the answers.
Really? How do you know?
Because I built it.
You built it. One man is responsible for the most invasive surveillance technology in the world.
I'm good with computers.
I had a feeling there was something special about you, Harold.
I'm willing to tell you whatever you want to know, but only if you agree to spare the lives of everyone else in this courtroom.
Before we release anybody, we need to hear your testimony first.
On September the 12th, 2001, I began coding a complex surveillance system that would be known by many code names over the years, although I always just called it the machine. By the time we turned it over to the government in 2009, the machine had helped stop 54 terrorist attacks, saving an estimated 4,000 lives. I don't know how many it's saved since.
So even though Northern Lights was shut down, your machine was still operational. Where is it now?
I'm afraid not even I know that.
You have access to it. Can we turn it off?
You have nothing to fear from my system, Mr. Collier, I assure you.
You'll forgive me if I don't take you at your word.
The machine's only output is a number. That's all the government ever gets. Just a nudge to say, there's something you should look at here, and then it's up to us to figure that out.
So it brands people as suspects, guilty until proven innocent.
No, not my intention.
That's what happened!
It had to be a closed system. It was the only way to protect people's rights.
You expect us to believe you gave one thought about people's rights as you were building the government a weapon of mass surveillance?
Not a weapon.
What else would you call it?
I would call it the best I can do.
And it never occurred to you the damage this thing could do, the lives it could destroy.
It occurred to me on day one, Mr. Collier, and every day since. If you're asking me if I feel at ease with what I've created or whether it was the right or the wrong thing to do, I honestly don't know. But I designed the machine in part because I was worried, and I remain worried about what someone else might build. Someone who wasn't worried.
Nothing wrong with a dictatorship, so long as you're the dictator. I rest my case.
Asioita.
腹が減ったのか。
違う。
空腹じゃ戦えないだろう。飯にするか。
Let me me show you a little about what I'm going through.
行くぞ。
いらっしゃい。 立野。俺の例の犯罪者だ。聞こえなくて。
注文いいか。
はい。
この店で一番安いランチを。こいつにはあの子供が食べている料理をくれ。
どうか9枚です。
ああ。
なんて
別のが良かったか。
なんて食べさせてくれるの？
お前が食べたいって顔してたからだ。
お待たせしました。
食べないのか？
いいの？
いいから食べろ。飲め。うまいか？やっぱり味がしない。
You know this person with another far less polite term.
I want you. Yeah, I want you. And nothing comes close to the way that I need you. I wish I could feel your skin, and I want you from somewhere within. Feels like there's oceans between me and you once again. We hide our emotions.
ではおい、ご心配なくすぐ収まりますよ。そのラクーン氏は精神障害と病を患っておりまして、私も手を焼いているのです。以前の飼い主が拷問好きな男でして。
どうした？落ち着け。落ち着くんだ。泣くな。大丈夫だ。なんだ？
ご主人様のことは何と呼べばいいですか？
何でもいい。
じゃあ。
何してる？早く来い。
国が悪いのか、それともあんちゃんが汚れちまったのか。
お待たせしました。
食べないのか？いいの？いいから食べろ。
I'll never get used to the ability of what I'm fairly generously assuming is the geothermal power of when you see like delicious food, even if you're absolutely sober, you taste it and you sense everything from how plump it would be to squeeze the food to how juicy it is. You just sense the food. You don't think, food, I wonder what it tastes like. You literally get the very essence of the food into you before you eat it. You exist in the food. It's weird. I think I could be wrong, but it seems to me like it's an ability of the geothermal power. This lady you already know. Check. Check. No check, but kinda check. No check, but yeah, also kinda check. No check and check. So the invocation modifier is something like +15. So getting novelist to appear right now should be very easy. Cherubim of Novalis. Peaceful angels of great devotion can take the corporeal damage of those they touch under themselves. Novalis being the Lady of Flowers, the original designer of the Garden of Eden. In this particular religion, God doesn't actually create anything. God creates the creators. So, if you do something, it's because God created you in the end. Novalis was the one who created the Garden of Eden. God is also seen as an inactive God in that he does not directly influence creation anymore. In the original material, I believe God is in a spa town in France. It has been changed in the preceding material. by another name. Lady of Flowers. If only all this tobacco was pure weed. And I could buy those pouches for $6. In America, there was CBD weed at sale for $90 an ounce. Smoked like a hippo when I was there. Next time I go there, I might want to try being sober. Only smoke on special occasion, because I like to be a little more present for my friend. I was a little out of it, but I was homeless and in a very hard place. Now if I visit, I can stay 3 months and they won't give my apartment away. My apologies. Ducks. I assume you will allow me the small human comfort of digesting food. I have started smoking tobacco while I lived in the homeless shelter because it was so stressful. I am slowly getting out of it. I will actually make noodles and have the recording on in the meantime. going to be incredibly hot when it comes out of the microwave. So I'm going to be keeping it there for maybe 10 minutes to let it like simmer.
もっと力を入れろ。やれ。ラフタリア、ナイフを抜け。これを飲んでおけ。調合した薬だ。軽度の風邪に効くらしい。飲め。ようやく口に逃がした。いいから飲め。ラフタリア、あのボールが欲しいのか？
全然あんなボール全然欲しくないです。
欲しいんだな。
Anna boll! En halva mutta anna kuitenkin.
仕事が終わったら遊んでいいぞ。
はい。
ほら、名前を言え。名前は？
二人が。
この奴隷にする。この店で一番安いランチを。こいつにはあの子供が食べている料理をくれ。
どうか9枚です。
ああ。飲め。うまいか？
ご主人様、私戦います。だから見捨てないで。
ああ。盾の力があっても傷はそれなりに痛いんだ。
絶対に死なないで。私を一人にしないで、直文様。
名前。腹が減ったのか？
違
う。空腹じゃ戦えないだろう。飯にするか。遅かったな。
ごめんなさい。
波の刻限も近い。そろそろ俺たちの装備を変えるべきか。
直文様、やりました。
何を言っている。今日はお前の装備を買いに。
それはありがたいことですが、その前に自分のことを考えてください。草原で怪我をされたのを忘れたんですか？
いや、それよりもお前の武器を。
直文様、戯れはほどほどにしていただきませんか？死んじゃいますよ。
べっぴんさんになったじゃねえか。近頃見かけなかったが何してた？
宿の人にテーブルマナーを教わりました。直文様みたいに上品に食事がしたくて。
そうかそうか。大きくなって前に来たチビとは大違いだ。
そうか。
そして私に戦う理由を示してくださいました。 あの波に立ち向かう理由を。私はあなたの剣です。どこへだってついていきます。
俺は一番安い定食を。この子には子供用ランチを。
直文様、私はもう子供じゃありません。私にも一番安い定食を。
はい。無理して大人ぶらなくていいんだぞ。
無理してません。私は。
お前はよくやったよ。
魔物いっぱい倒しました。
この国がロリコンばかりでな。
嬢ちゃんかわいいな。もう一本おまけだ。
小さい女の子が可愛いのはわかるが、
こいつも持ってけ。
どいつもこいつも。
かっこいい。すごく似合っててかっこいいです。
名付けて蛮族の鎧だ。なかなか生かしてるぞ、盗賊みたいで。
俺は一応勇者なんだが。
素敵です。
This is supposed to be an hour-long set, but it's now 2 hours 30 minutes. Okay. I'll be doing a little bit of extra. This is also what's been going on with me.
脳硬心としての力が強すぎて、じゃがいもから目が。
やっぱり不安だ。
じゃあ一つ。尻尾を触ってみたいんですけど。
尻尾？
ああ、いや、ダメなら別に。
お主が言うなら特別じゃからな。
その耳どうやって動かしてるんですか？
どうと言われてももう生えてるものじゃし、手足のようなものかな。
いや、それは。
なるほど、設定を重視するタイプなんですね。
設定？
ああ、はい、設定。そう、設定重視なんです。じゃあ電気消しますね。
お休みなのじゃ。
なんだこの寝姿の可愛い生き物。いや、毛玉だ。無性にも振りたくなる。でもまたも振ったら怒られるだろうし。
肉じゃがが待っておるのじゃが、食べていかんかの。
肉じゃが。
まさかそれが秘策？
じゃがじゃが。
じゃがじゃが。
まずいぞ。なんか余計怒ったんじゃ。
うやん。
はい。
絶対じゃぞ。
絶対絶対、はい。すいません。ちょっと千子さん、外ではダメですって。
大丈夫じゃ、誰も見ておらぬよ。
もう耳の剣といい、千子さんは大味すぎるんですよ。
お主が心配しすぎなのじゃよ。浮いて
た。はいはい、お豆腐は水に浮いてるわね。
誰かと一緒にご飯を食べて。
おかわりはどうじゃ？
あ、はい、いただきます。いや待て、この子は誰なんだ？
どれ、わらわが耳かきしてやろう。
あ、遠慮しておきます。
いや、なんと耳かき天下一の名を欲しいままにしたわらわの耳かきじゃぞ。
極楽極楽。
なんだかいかがわしい天下一ですね。
その耳と尻尾は。稲荷少女ヨーコちゃんのコスプレですよね。
はい。俺は何も見てないぞ。さっさと寝よう。
やはり相当疲れておるようじゃの。
ドアすり抜けて幽霊。
眠りが足りぬと本来の力も出せぬし、結果損をするものじゃ。熟練者には。
ちょっと300年寝るね。起こさないでね。
数百年寝るやつもおるくらいじゃ。
文字通り神話級の熟練度だ。
隣は一人暮らしの男性だと思っていたら。
隣？
幼女を無理やり襲う変態だったなんて。
確かに襲ってました。どうして俺なんかにそこまで。
心して聞くのじゃ。
はい。
実はお主は。
はい。
わらわ好みの色男だったのじゃ。
そんな理由？
ほれ、横になるがよい。わらわの太ももを貸してやろ
う。なんだろう、この犯罪臭漂う感じは。千子さんは800歳、千子さんは800歳。俺が取りますよ。いや
ー、わらわ一人で大丈夫じゃ。
まあまあ、俺にも少しは手伝わせてくださいよ。この納豆ですね。なんだ、届いたんですね。
このくらい余裕じゃよ。
浮いてる浮いてる。
炊きたてじゃ。
いや、そんなに食べられませんよ。
遠慮するでない。どうしたのじゃ。耳に水でも入ったのかの。
それもあるんですけど、会社でやたら大声で怒鳴られてから調子が悪くて。
それは災難じゃったの。その代わりと言ってはなんじゃが、少しうるさくすることもあると思うのじゃが、許してはくれんかの。
ああ、はい、大丈夫ですよ。
そうか。
細かいことは気にしないたちなんで、うるさくても平気っすよ。
じゃあなんで殴り込んできたんだよ。なんで俺の家に幼女が。しかも耳とか尻尾とか生えてるし。近所の子か。でもこの状況って傍から見たら。
あいつ絶対やると思ってたんですよね。
でも寝るにはまだ早いですけど。
たわけ、今寝れば好きなだけ寝られるのじゃぞ。8時間寝ても大丈夫じゃ。
そんな寝ませんよ。会社に遅刻するし、普段から4時間くらいしか寝ないですから。
4時間？嘘じゃろ。お主本当に人間かの。
少なくとも千子さんよりは。
うるさい。もしもし、警察ですか。今小さい女の子が襲われてて。
ちょ、
わらわが持ってきたのじゃ。
ほ 美味しいですね。どこで買ってきたんです？
いや、神社に奉納されておったものじゃな。
それは食べていいんだろうか。
よし、こうするのじゃ。お主が耳かきをさせてくれたらわらわの耳を触らせてやろ
う。耳触らせてもらえるんですか？
少しじゃぞ。
よく俺の気持ちが分かりましたね。
顔に書かれておったわ。
さすがの千子さんも油揚げを前にすると外見相応の子供っぽさが。
こやつにするのじゃ。
え？
やんややんややん。
俺この後何食連続油揚げなんだろう。
仕方がないの。捨てるとするかな。
わかった。食べるよ。
お主よ、どう見てもまだ寝足りないのではないか。
慣れてますから。
そうなのかな。
大丈夫ですよ。
ちっとも大丈夫ではないのじゃ。
俺は中野です。サラリーマンやってます。
わらわの名は千子。こやつの妻兼母親じゃ。
その兼ね方はやばい。
やっぱりそうかなと思ってたんですよ。
この人話聞いてないでしょ。俺電気消し忘れたっけ？
お帰りなのじゃ。遅くまでお仕事お疲れ様じ
ゃ。すいません、間違えました。いや、俺んちだよな。まるで包み込まれているかのよう。吸い込まれそう。
お主、少しは力加減を。
奥の方は一体どうなって。あ
called, my queen. How may I assist you?
Yes, I'm going out. Prepare me a dress. Same as usual. Understand?
Yes, as you command, my queen.
Oh, shame. Where is thy blush? Over 100,000 years old and still such anticipation. Thousand years old and still such anticipation. I cannot bear to wait even a few moments more. However, I must honor my word. My contract with the master of Nicoya, my treasure. Indeed. To dine alongside me, one of the 6 great dragons, would be an honor. If not considerably unpleasant for the other diners.
As you commanded, my queen, your dress is now ready. You are ready.
Good. I shall return.
Enjoy your trip, my queen.
I have arrived, Master.
Yes, welcome back.
And what would you like today?
Do I need to say? I request the same dish every time I visit you. The beef stew, naturally. I shall begin with just one bowl.
You got it. Beef stew. Coming right up. Thank you for your patience. Here's your beef stew.
This aroma. It smells of heaven and does tempt me to no end. But I must savor this jewel. Delicious. As always, the broth and the vegetables are unparalleled. Oh, yes. Master, more of the same. You understand, yes?
I do, of course. It's all ready to go whenever you're ready.
Farewell. I'll come again.
I certainly look forward to it. See you next time, then.
I trust you enjoyed it.
Yes. Now for more.
Done.
I will let you enjoy each other's company.
What's this? Someone from the other side, no doubt.
Where am I? I let myself in, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that too. Oh no!
It's okay. Try to calm down. Why don't we just start with a name?
I can't believe I wandered into a magician's manor. My name? I'm so sorry, my name is Aletta.
So tell me, how did you end up here?
Oh, it's real weird. It's so cold. Maybe I shouldn't have come to the capital. Maybe this whole thing was a mistake. It's not fair. Why couldn't I have been born a human? I'm so tired. I can't sleep though. I'm too hungry. Wow, something sure smells tasty. Wait, there's a door in here? That's crazy, I've never seen it. Hey, what is that? Oh, how cute. Looks like a little kitty cat. That scared me. It's so dark. I shouldn't let myself in like this, should I? But that smell... What is this place? It's so strange. Look at all these silver surfaces everywhere. Am I dreaming? Yeah, I've gotta be. And if I am, might as well go along. Is that night sauce? Best dream ever! So, I should definitely eat this, right? I don't know what this is, but it's great! This place is like a dream. Oh yeah, because it is one.
I see. So you're saying you thought my restaurant was a dream,
Oh,
huh?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
Anything else?
I guess, yeah. I'm sorta not a human being because I'm actually a demon. So, as proof that we have the demon god's divine protection, all demons possess an inhuman feature of some sort. Horns, a tail, scales that cover their body, poisonous blood and sweat, a part of the body made from see-through slime stuff. It manifests in various ways. Even if one of our parents is maybe a human or like a half-elf, it doesn't matter. We're always gonna be born with the god's blessing somewhere, and that's whether we like it or not. My blessing isn't all that impressive, though. It's just these small black goat horns. I'm not like most demons. My physical and magical strength aren't any greater than your average human girl. About half a year ago, I decided to leave my hometown and move to the royal capital city, a human city. I hid my horns, found a place to work, and was making a decent enough living too. But then, one day... they saw my horns at the inn where I was working, so I lost my job. After that, word that I was a demon spread through the city like wildfire. It was awful. They make it really hard for a demon to find work in the royal capital. Before I knew it, I'd completely run out of money. Now I'm staying in these old ruins where even the most impoverished people refuse to live. At least I've got it to myself, though.
Interesting.
Sorry, I'm really sorry.
Don't be. At this point, I couldn't care less about the corn potage you ate. However, I think I might be as famished now as you were earlier. Hey, what did you say your name was again? Aletta, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Will you be sticking around for breakfast, Aletta?
No, I can't, but thank you for asking me. I still don't have any money, and I could never, ever forgive myself if I caused you any more trouble than I already have.
I'd actually prefer it if you stuck around and joined me. It'd only be a staff meal, though, no money required.
It would be free?
Wouldn't feel right being the only one of us to get to eat something. Besides, food always tastes better when there's someone there to share it with.
All right, yeah, I can stay. And thank you so much.
No problem. Give me just a minute. Here you go, my breakfast special. This is something not included on the regular menu.
Wow, look at that. This man's really good at cooking.
Unfortunately, this is all I can offer you at the moment. Try to bear with it. You ready? If not, I'll dig in.
I'm more than ready. God of Demons is good, God of Demons is great. Let us thank him for this food. By his blessings we are fed. Please just forget I did that.
Oh, I hope everything's okay. Don't tell me I made something you're not a fan of.
No, it's nothing. Never mind me, I'm just being silly. Whoa, that's delicious too! And this thing... It's so good!
I suppose I gotta be one lucky cook to have someone eat my food this eagerly. Oh, I don't mind making some more.
Oh, yes! Thanks so much for this.
You're welcome. Glad you enjoyed it.
Everything was delicious.
I have a question, Aletta. You mentioned a bit ago that you were looking for work, didn't you?
Yeah, I did say that.
And were you a server by chance? I mean, when you were at the inn, did you wait tables at all?
I did, yeah.
Well, then how would you like to work here once a week? I could use someone to help me out literally once every 7 days.
Huh?
The work is from dawn until late in the night. You'd be waiting on tables and clearing away the dishes, basic stuff. As far as pay goes, how about we treat you the same as a kid in college? Actually, let's go more than that. 10 silver coins for a full day, sound good?
What? That much? And just for waiting tables for you?
Right. Well, it is about a 14-hour shift, including breaks. That'll be pretty rough if you're not used to it. Working here will be a lot of work. Oh, and I'll feed you 3 meals. They'll be simple staff meals, though, nothing terribly fancy.
Yes, I'll do it! Please let me! Please hire me!
All right, then consider yourself hired, Aletta. Now, I realize this isn't a whole lot of warning, but do you have some free time to hang around a bit today?
Yes, absolutely I do!
That's good to hear. I can show you the ropes ahead of time, then.
Sure.
Best reply I could ask for. Now, let's see, where shall we start? Wash up in the shower room. I can show you how to use it if you don't know. I'll provide you with a uniform and shoes.
Wash up? A shower? Okay, I get into it like this. Oh, that feels so good. I think I'm supposed to use this magical device to clean with. Excuse me. I'm all finished changing. So, do I look okay?
Yeah, you passed muster. Oh, are the shoes I picked out for you the correct size?
Yes, they are. They fit me perfectly.
Great, then let's move on.
Okay.
Why don't you start at that table?
Is there anything wrong, my queen?
There has been a recent addition to my treasure.
You mean your spell,
Indeed. I shall return soon.
my queen?
It's meat. Needless to say, the ladies' meat. The chef is basically the world community.
Today was unbelievably amazing. But I probably should still find a second job. I would really prefer to sleep with a roof over my head after all. I'll make it happen. Tomorrow's a new day. New day.
No need for concern here. None of this world would dare damage a part of my precious treasure. None would be so foolish.
Wake up, sunshine. Up and at 'em, man. Sammy.
Sammy. Hey. Whoa. It's 12 hours straight. I'm calling that rested. Here, hydrate. And, protein 8.
Breakfast in bed.
Don't get used to it. We'll see that hand.
Oh, he wants to hold your little hand. How sweet.
There you'll live. Here. All right, take it easy.
So, who's invasion? Any leads?
I got all my feelers out. Whatever they're up to. It ain't about going Mothra down Main Street. They'll turn up. They seem pretty eager to stretch their legs, you know.
Yeah, well, now on to our other big problem. How are you doing? And do not say okay.
I'm not okay.
You think?
Hey, go a little easy.
There's nothing easy about it, Bobby, okay? We acted like he had everything under control.
I get it. I'm sorry. Look, I didn't exactly want to crack up, you know.
What the hell happened back there?
Well, it's not just flashbacks anymore.
Well, then what?
It's more like I'm seeing through the cracks.
What does that mean?
It means I'm having a difficult time figuring out what's real.
Hallucinations?
For starters.
Well, for starters, if you're tripping hell's bells, why would you hide that?
I wasn't hiding it, Dean. I was just not talking about it. I mean, it seemed like you two had enough going on as it was. Look, I just figured try to hold on to the safety bar and ride it out, you know? But it's getting more specific.
Let's have it.
Arthur? Gentlemen, as most of you now know, a U-2 over Cuba Sunday morning took a series of disturbing photographs. Our analysis at NPIC indicates that the Soviet Union has followed up its conventional weapons buildup in Cuba with the introduction of surface-to-surface medium-range ballistic missiles, or MRBMs. Our official estimate at this time is that this missile system is the SS-4 Sandal. We do not believe that the missiles are as yet operational. Ironbark reports that the SS-4 can deliver a 3-megaton nuclear weapon 1,000 miles. So far, we've identified 32 missiles serviced by about 3,400 men, undoubtedly all Soviet personnel. Our cities and military installations in the southeast, as far north as Washington, D.C., are in range of these weapons, and in the event of a launch would have only 5 minutes of warning.
5 minutes, gentlemen.
In those 5 minutes, they could kill 80 million Americans and destroy a significant percentage of our bomber bases, degrading our retaliatory options. The Joint Chiefs' consensus, Mr. President, is that this signals a major doctrinal shift in Soviet thinking to a first strike policy. It is a massively destabilizing move. We need more U-2 coverage.
Gentlemen, I want first reactions here. Assuming for the moment that Khrushchev is not going off the deep end and intends to start World War III, what are we looking at?
Mr. President, I believe my team is in agreement. If we permit the introduction of nuclear missiles to a Soviet satellite nation in our hemisphere, the diplomatic consequences will be too terrible to contemplate. The Russians are trying to show the world they can do whatever they want, wherever they want, and we're powerless to stop them. If they succeed...
It'll be Munich all over again.
Yes. Appeasement only makes the aggressor more aggressive. And the Soviets will be emboldened to push us even harder. Now, we must remove the missiles one way or another. Now, it seems to me the options are either some combination of international pressure and action on our part till they give in, or we hit them. An airstrike.
Bob?
We worked up several military scenarios. Before I ask General Taylor to take us through the various options, I'd like for us to adopt a rule. If we decide to strike, we must agree now to do it before the missiles become operational. Because once they are, I don't think we can guarantee getting them all before at least some of them are launched.
Well, it's clear we cannot permit Soviet nuclear missiles in Cuba. We have to get those missiles out.
Mr. President, our deliberations have led us to the conclusion that a blockade of offensive weapons to Cuba is our best option. A strong showing of support from the Organization of American States would give us an umbrella of legitimacy.
A blockade is technically an act of war. Therefore, we recommend calling the action a quarantine.
Let's hope that translates into Russian the way we want it to.
There are between 20 and 30 Soviet ships underway to Cuba at this time. 800 miles out, the Navy will stop them, board, and any vessels containing weapons will be turned back. A quarantine prevents any more missiles from reaching Cuba, but it doesn't remove the missiles already there. It gives the Soviets a chance to pull back without a war. If they refuse to remove the missiles, we retain the option to strike and invade.
A sneak attack would be counter to what the United States stands for. Leaves us no room for maneuver, and the inevitable Soviet response would force us into a war.
Mr. President, there are still those of us who believe we should proceed with the strikes. Sir, with the blockade, we lose strategic surprise, and we also run the risks of the Soviets launching a first strike against us if they decide they have to use the missiles or lose them.
So quarantine or airstrike? I've not yet made my final decision. I'll be asking the networks for airtime on Monday night. We'll announce our course of action then. Ted, I want you to get working on speeches for both quarantine and airstrike. Well, thank you for all your advice.
Minä olen vanha.
めましたか？よかった。
君、私以外の6人は彼らは救助されたのか？
大丈夫ですよ。あなたも含めて7人、皆さんここで保護しています。どうぞ。ヤギのミルクで作ったシチューです。
食事をするだけの体力は。
これならますよね。
ありがとう。
リルル、例の行き倒れが目を覚ましたって本当かい？あらあら。
私は日本から来たのだが。
日本？
知らない地名だね。
何を言っているのだね。君たちは今日本語を話しているではないか。
何言ってんだい？
一体何がどうなっている？
何かとても大きなものが空を横切っていって、あの鳥の骨みたいなのが火を吹いてて。
ありえない。この山上で助かるはずがない。
ありえない、ありえない、ありえない、ありえない。
食べちゃうぞ。ほら、いたずらしちゃダメだよ。
これをこうして
何かけたの？
食べてみてくれ。
塩で食べるより全然美味しいよ。あんたらに飲ませる酒も食わせる肉もありゃしないよ。
わめくな女。その代わり少しだけもてなしてほしいってんだ。なんだ貴様、者ども。はっ、この愚か者を。なんだ
でござる。
なんだ。
貴様らも命をいただくとしよう。例えばこんな風にな。
誓うから殺さないでくれ。
分かっているな。
水晶宮で見させてもらった。よくぞ波を沈めてくれた。非常に遺憾だがな。
それが人に礼を言う態度か。
お願いします、勇者様。お気持ちはわかりますが、どうか騎士団長にご同行を。
一つ尋ねたいことがある。お前はどのようにしてその強さを手に入れた？お前は盾の勇者にあるまじき力を持っている。その秘密話す義務がある。さあ話せ。嘘偽りなく真実のみをな。
知りたければ土下座をしろ。俺がいた世界では人に物を尋ねるときは地面に頭をこすりつけるんだ。お願いします。無知な私めにどうぞ教えてくださいってな。貴様！今の俺ならここでお前を殺し正面から逃げ切ることもできる。
はったりを。
波の化け物を倒した俺とやり合いたい奴はいるか？波が終わって元の世界に帰れるまでは最低限協力してやる。だから二度と俺の邪魔をするな。
王に対しての不敬絶対に許さぬぞ。立て。そうだ、忌々しい貴様の奴隷どもにその罪を償わせて。
貴様がどんなに薄汚い手を使おうが俺は仲間を必ず守り抜く。二度と俺から何も奪わせない。あいつらに指一本触れてみろ。地の果てまで追い詰めて生まれてきたことを後悔させてやる。
立て。
Adoption.
And there's this couple, they haven't had, you know, they've been trying to have a kid for like 5 years.
We found them in the penny saver next to the exotic birds.
And they have a legitimate lawyer, and I was gonna go meet with them next weekend.
Junebug, that is a tough, tough thing to do. It's probably tougher than you can understand right now.
I know. And it's just that I'm not ready to be involved.
A damn skippy you're not. You don't even remember to give Liberty Bell her breathing meds.
That was once, and she did not die, if you recall.
Hey, had you considered, you know, the alternative?
No.
Well, you're a little Viking. First things first. All right, we have to get you healthy. You need prenatal vitamins. Incidentally, they do incredible things for your nails, so that's a plus. Oh, and we need to schedule a doctor's appointment. Figure out where you're going to deliver.
Do you know I'm coming with you to meet this adoption couple? You're just a kid, and I want you to get ripped off by a couple of baby-starved wingnuts.
Thanks, Dad.
Well, I thought you were the kind of girl who knew when to say when.
I don't really know what kind of girl I am.
Tell it to me straight. This is my fault.
I think kids get bored and they have intercourse. And I think Junebug was a dummy about it, Mac.
I am not ready to be a papa.
You're not gonna be a papa. Somebody else is gonna find a precious blessing from Jesus in this garbage dump of a situation.
Did you see that coming when she sat us down?
Yeah, but I was hoping she was expelled or into her drugs.
It was my first instinct, too. For a DWI, anything but this. And I'm gonna punch that Bleecker kid in the wiener next time I see him.
Mac, come on. You know it wasn't his idea.
this day, all that you showed me, the power and the glory, till thy kingdom come. Give us all the storybook told me, the faith and the glory, till thy kingdom come. someplace